They say you never truly know your neighbors, but in my case, I didn't even truly know my own house. My name is Mark. I live in a quiet, sleepy suburb in Virginia. It's the kind of place where nothing ever happens. No crime, no noise, just the sound of lawnmowers on Sunday mornings. But all of that changed last Tuesday. It was exactly 3:03 a.m. I was fast asleep when a sound woke me up. It wasn't loud. It was a slow, rhythmic tapping on my front door. Tap, tap, tap. I checked my phone. No messages. I opened my security camera app to see who was there, but the screen was just static. My heart started racing. I walked to the door and looked through the peephole. Standing on my porch was a man in a black suit. He looked like he was heading to a funeral. He was soaking wet from the rain, but he wasn't shivering. He was just standing there, perfectly still. In his hand, he held an old, rusty silver key. I was about to shout, "Who are you?" But before I could speak, the man leaned closer to the door. He didn't knock again. He whispered. His voice was low, but it sounded like he was standing right next to my ear. He said, "Mark, I know what you hid under the floorboards. If you don't open this door, the whole world will find out." I felt the blood drain from my face. My breath hitched in my throat. Here's the thing. I moved into this house only 2 months ago. I haven't hidden anything. I don't even have a guest room where floorboards could be pulled up. I gathered my courage and grabbed the door handle, but then I stopped. Something felt wrong, very wrong. I looked through the peephole one more time. The porch was empty. The man was gone. No footsteps, no car driving away, just the sound of the rain. I slowly opened the door, my hands trembling. The man was nowhere to be seen, but lying right there on my welcome mat was the silver key. And next to it, written in what looked like red chalk, was a single word: run. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I sat on my sofa staring at that rusty silver key on my coffee table. It felt cold, almost heavy, as if it carried a weight beyond its size. Who was that man, and what did he mean by under the floorboards? As the first light of dawn hit the windows, I decided I couldn't sit still anymore. I took a hammer and a crowbar from my garage. I started in the bedroom, pulling up the corner of the carpet. Nothing. Just concrete and dust. I moved to the living room. Nothing. I was about to give up, thinking the man was just a lunatic, when I noticed something strange in my hallway. There was a small rug near the closet that I had never moved since the day I arrived. I kicked it aside. Beneath it, the wood looked different. It was darker, older, and slightly raised. My heart hammered against my ribs as I wedged the crowbar into the gap. With a loud creak, the wood gave way. I expected to find a hidden safe or maybe some old documents. Instead, I found a staircase, a narrow wooden staircase leading straight down into the darkness. My house shouldn't have a basement. The blueprints I saw when I bought the place showed nothing but solid foundation. I grabbed my flashlight and began to descend. The air grew cold, colder than any air conditioner could make it. At the bottom of the stairs was a single heavy steel door, and in the center of that door was a lock. I looked at the silver key in my hand. It was a perfect match. My hand shook as I inserted the key. It turned with a loud metallic click. I pushed the door open, and the smell hit me instantly. It wasn't the smell of rot or death. It was the smell of fresh lilies, like a funeral home. The room was filled with filing cabinets, hundreds of them. I opened the nearest drawer and pulled out a file. My breath caught in my throat. The file had a name on it. It was my neighbor's name, Mr. Henderson. Inside were photos of him, eating breakfast, walking his dog, sleeping in his bed. I grabbed another file. This one had the name of the local mailman. Another one had the name of the girl who works at the grocery store down the street. Every single person in this town had a file in this room. Their secrets, their routines, their deepest fears, all documented. But then I saw the file sitting on the desk in the center of the room. It was thick, brand new, and had one name written in bold black letters: my name. I reached for it, but before my fingers could touch the paper, I heard a sound from the top of the stairs. Step, step, step. Someone was coming down, and then a familiar voice whispered from the darkness above. You weren't supposed to find the files yet, Mark. You were only supposed to use the key. I froze. The flashlight slipped from my hand, clattering against the cold floor. The beam of light danced across the filing cabinets before settling on the man at the top of the stairs. It was him, the man in the black suit. But now, in the dim light, I realized he wasn't a stranger. He looked exactly like the previous owner of the house, the man who had supposedly moved to Europe months ago. He didn't look angry. He looked disappointed. The files are not for you to read, Mark, he said, his voice echoing in the small room. They are for you to maintain. Why do you think this house was so cheap? Why do you think no one ever bothers you here? I backed away, hitting the edge of the desk. My hand brushed against my own file. Who are you? I stammered. What is this place? The man stepped into the light. We are the Watchers. We ensure this town remains perfect. Every secret we keep is a shield that protects these people from themselves. And now, because you opened that door, you have two choices. He pointed to the silver key still in the lock. Choice 1, you leave this house right now. You run and you never look back. But know this, once you leave, your file becomes active. Every mistake you've ever made, every lie you've ever told will be mailed to the police and the press by tomorrow morning. My heart sank. I thought about the things in my past I had worked so hard to bury. And choice 2? I whispered. The man smiled, but his eyes remained cold. Choice 2, you lock that door, you burn my file, and you take my place. You become the new Watcher of this town. You will live in comfort, you will never want for money, but you will never leave these walls. I looked at the files, thousands of lives held together by paper and ink. Then I looked at the man. He was handing me a pen. The video you're watching right now, it's being uploaded from that basement. If you are hearing this, it means I made my choice. I'm looking at your file right now. I know where you are. I know what you're hiding. And don't worry, as long as you keep watching, your secret is safe with me. But whatever you do, if someone knocks on your door at 3:03 a.m., do not answer it.